Fearscape Media Network, exploring the unknown, one podcast at a time. Fearscape Paranormal Podcast, part of the Fearscape Media Network. Prepare to be spooked. New episodes every Wednesday on all major podcast platforms. Find out more at fearscapepodcast.com.
Hello, and welcome to the Antagonists, where we discuss all of your favorite villains. I'm Sam.
I'm the man with no name, Lance Wayne.
Oh my goodness. I have to say that I feel like I am tired today. I don't know what it is, but I'm just drained.
Me too. I don't know. And the wealth of, like we were talking a little bit before, the wealth of information that I got on this character, just looking at it exhausts me.
I mean, honestly, it feels like there is just so much history around it, and I feel like it's almost I feel like it's a little bit suiting that we're tired. It's almost as if we had kind of just walked through a field of poppies.
Oh, yes. I don't know the words.
I don't know if you know the tune either.
Fuck off.
Just say
No, there. Yes. Oh,
I mean, like, it's much easier since I know what you're talking about, which, hey, by the way, if you haven't guessed yet, we're going to be talking about the Wicked Witch of the West.
These things must be handled delicately.
I'm actually really excited about this one because
You sound excited.
I mean, okay, give me a daggone break. It's a lot of information because there's so much history behind this character. This character goes back 120 years.
Oh my God, that far? I haven't even.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. The first book was 1900. Jesus.
Exactly. I was going to say, it was, she first appeared in, was it L. Frank Baum? His first novel back in 1900. That was so long ago. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. L. Frank Baum, but the ladies just called him the Bomb.
No. But you know, so there's a lot of history here.
Mm-hmm. You want me to get started on it? Oh, well, wait.
Oh.
What was your what like with Frankenfurter?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that character both had left a pretty big impression on us, you know, in our youth. But when's the first time you saw the Wizard of Oz and then, you know, encountered the Wicked Witch of the West?
Honestly, I'm not even sure that I know, because it feels like the Wizard of Oz has always just kind of been around. I know that I watched it as a kid. I had the VHS.
Yeah.
And I remember even at one point during a high school pep rally, I played the Wicked Witch of the West.
Really?
Yes, I did.
I bet you didn't have to stretch that far, did you?
Oh, of course not. And it was honestly one of the most mortifying moments of my life.
Why?
Well, because when we had everything planned out, we had music cues and everything like that. And I was the first person to go out in front of my entire school. Well, as it turns out, there was some technical difficulties. And while I was out dancing around my magic crystal ball, when I was dancing around my magic crystal ball, the music wasn't turning over the way that it should.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea what I was doing. So I didn't know, should I stop? Should I keep going? So I stayed out in front of the 1,000 or so kids in front of my entire school, dancing around this crystal ball for about 5 minutes while they were working it out.
Oh,
and I'm in, my full, witch makeup or whatever. At one point later on, when I'm running off stage, I lost my hat, so I had to run back and get it. It was a holy clusterfuck.
Please tell me there's video.
I don't think that there is.
Oh.
But you know what? I was a pretty quiet kid in high school, and for some reason that made people know who I was, and it's super uncomfortable.
Oh, so you got laid a lot after that little incident?
No, definitely not. It was not that kind of people knowing who I was. That definitely was not who I was back in high school or at any point in my life.
I figured you were a cheerleader, like part of the.
Nope. I have to say, nope. I don't think I have ever possessed enough pep to even get close to being a cheerleader. I say, but what about you? Do you have any, memories of our Wicked Witch or Wizard of Oz?
I'm exactly like you, which I bet half the friggin' population is, where Wizard of Oz was just always there, almost in a sense like Santa Claus. It's so ingrained in your, and I guess Americana or whatever, however you want to put it. But I mean, it was just always there.
Yeah, and it's referenced through so much other media.
Oh God, it has to be one of the
most quoted movies or series.
Yeah, and granted, I don't know. I was really, I was a small child, but oddly enough, it's something my parents always remind me of. They always said that when I was little, this was one of my obsessions, this film.
Really?
They said I would always run around quoting the Wicked Witch.
I can see that. She does seem to be your aesthetic.
I want you to elaborate that later on because I have no idea what you're fucking talking about. But no, honestly, they said I wanted to be not the Wicked Witch. I wanted to be the Tin Man. They said that my grandpa, he was one of the most creative people I'll ever know.
Mm-hmm.
But he passed when I was 7, so I didn't get to know him, very well. But something I do remember is, and my parents, they remind me about, he took a funnel, that you would use like to put oil in your car or something like that. But he bought a little, plastic funnel, put some elastic string on it so I could wear it and look like the Tin Man.
Sounds so adorable.
Well,
lands with a funnel on his head.
Well, it also said for some reason that because of course the Tin Man has his axe,
mm-hmm.
and they said like no, not that I would pick up a stick or even have like a toy axe or anything. They said I would go around with a plunger. And that would
I thought you were going to say you stole your grandpa's axe.
No,
I thought that's what it was going to be.
No.
Oh, that makes so much sense now.
But yeah, I would run around with the plunger saying it was my axe. But yeah,
I don't let you run around with a plunger.
Well, yeah, it wasn't used.
Well, I don't know. Most people use plungers. Where did you get an unused plunger? Did they buy you one specifically for
They
this?
may have. I may have just, I don't know, man.
I feel like they just told you that it was unused to make you feel better. At least
probably.
I hope that it was, because it gives me the skeevies to think about.
Well, but yeah, I don't know. It's something, I haven't really, I don't even know. Is there a, and if anybody's listening and knows about this, feel free to contact us. But I mean, is there like a Wizard of Oz fandom or anything? You
Well,
know?
I'm sure there is. I mean, there's a fandom for everything, and considering how many different iterations of this story that there has been, if there's not one for like classic Wizard of Oz, there's got to be ones for, like the Wicked Witch for like when you see her in Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
Or
And that Wicked, that
oh yeah, Wicked definitely has
yeah.
its own following.
Yeah, I mean that show was huge. But yeah, it's it's just that's kind of my take on it. I guess I was obsessed with it was one of my obsessions as a kid, along with Batman and dinosaurs and whatnot. And I mean, I just as I got older, I never really kept up with it. I guess but yeah, that's it.
But yeah, like we were saying, there's just, I mean, this story has existed for so long. There have been so many different tellings, and it has changed so much throughout the years as well.
Well, it's such a I've never read the original novels,
Mm-hmm.
but I have read the first 3 books in the Wicked series, or yeah, first 3, I believe. But when you think about it, it's such a basic good versus evil. You know what I mean? Very, it's very just to the point, very black and white. And maybe that's why it's so revered. Universally, because everybody can relate to that.
Yes, and at the same time, like I feel like when you think about the Wicked Witch, most people, when they think about her, they think about, Margaret Hamilton in the 1939 movie with Judy Garland.
Yeah.
That she is the most iconic representation, to the point where when you think of the Wicked Witch, or when you think of witches in general, you think of wearing all black, you think of the pointy hat, and you think of the green skin.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
exactly. That's our. I posted something up on the Mistress of the Dark page today. It was a little like cartoon
mm-hmm.
involving it was it involved a witch from Hansel and Gretel and another witch, and they were both green, pointy nose, long black cloak. I mean, that's our depiction of witches, period.
Well, as far as
pretty much
from what I could tell, at least from doing my research and things like that, because like the original Wicked Witch in the book, she didn't have that. She had like an eye patch and things like that. It was never mentioned her skin. The only thing they really talked about it is that her blood had like dried up from her wickedness or something that, which apparently is supposed to be one of the reasons why she was so weak to water in the first place, because because she was so dried out from her own wickedness, and now we associate the green skin from that point. Like that was the first time she had ever been depicted that way, and almost every other film after that or anything where you see her or even other witches, that's how they're depicted. And I think that's interesting to see that one take from a movie so long ago has completely changed how culture sees this one thing.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, I think that's a great transition into maybe giving a little backstory. I'm just going to cover the backstory. I'm just going to cover, just like as I said with Frank. This is just for the uninitiated. I don't see. I mean, unless you are, you lived in a bomb shelter for however many years and don't know who the Wicked Witch of the West is, this is for you, I suppose. But I'm just gonna give a little backstory on the Wicked Witch of the film, the one we all know, and the Wicked Witch of the book. So let's begin. The Wicked Witch of the West. This is from Wikipedia, by the way. The Wicked Witch of the West is a fictional character and the main antagonist of the classic children's novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, 1900, created by American author L. Frank Baum, aka The Baum. In Bond's subsequent novels, it is the Gnome King who is the principal villain, who I have no idea who that is. Do you?
I don't know. It really depends on, because see, I never read the books either. I feel like the Gnome King might have been brought up in Return to Oz, the creepy movie made in the 80s.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like he was, but I can't remember because it's also been a minute since I watched that one.
I think the Rock dude. Is that who you're thinking of?
Maybe. See, now I have to go and watch it. They have it on Disney Plus, and I want to see it again because the Wheelies or the Wheelers creep me the fuck out.
I know we're getting sidetracked a lot, but that scene where she walks into the room, that dark room, and there's all those heads. Anyway, all right, where was I? The Wicked Witch of the West is rarely even referred to again after her death in the first book. The witch's most popular depiction was in the classic 1939 film based on Bond's novel, where she is portrayed by Margaret Hamilton. Hamilton's characterization introduced green skin, and this has been continued in later literary and dramatic representations, including Gregory Maguire's revisionist Oz novel, Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, 1995, which we'll get to later on, and his musical stage adaptation, Wicked, 2003. The 2013 film, Oz the Great and Powerful, and the television series, Once Upon a Time in Emerald City. So, we got anything else we want to say, or do we want to go straight into how she is conveyed in the books?
I see. One thing I found interesting, and I guess it also, she's mentioned so little in the books and things like that, but I also found it interesting because technically, even in the 1939 movie, she only had 12 minutes of screen time because
really?
Yeah, it's like supposed to be like exactly 12 minutes. And that's because they had to cut so much out of the movie because they said it was too frightening for children.
Really?
Yes.
And people, I never was, but people are still, to this day, you hear people being like, oh, I was so terrified of the Wizard of Oz.
Well, I mean, honestly, her depiction, I'm not scared of it, but I can definitely see it from kids. And then watching it as an adult, because I watched it just the other day, and she's definitely terrifying.
She is.
I see at one point in the movie when, she shows up right after, Dorothy drops the house on the Wicked Witch of the East. And Dorothy's like, oh, no, I'm so sorry. It was an accident. She's like, I can cause accidents too. And I'm like, damn, that is a threat. That is a promise.
Well, there's that part she has Dorothy locked up in the castle or tower or whatever. She flips that, the
hourglass.
Hourglass. Thank you, my God. Flips the hourglass and literally says to her in like the most, callous way possible, this is how long you have until you die. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? It's honestly just one of those things that it really just goes to show just how evil she is, and a way that it kind of differs from the book to the movie, because she doesn't just, in the book, she doesn't just, take Dorothy. She takes Dorothy and enslaves her.
Yes.
And, she takes Dorothy, she enslaves her. She tries to, she imprisons the Cowardly Lion and tries to starve him to death, and she's over here sneaking him food and stuff.
Yeah.
And like the Wicked Witch is, obviously, by name and title, a wicked bitch.
Yeah. Well, why don't, with that being said, why don't we give a little bit more information on how she's portrayed in the books then?
In the book, she's actually not even related to the Wicked Witch of the East.
Yeah, I have here, she is the malevolent ruler of the Winky country.
Well, the Winky country, that's like the land of Oz.
Yeah. The Winkies, what were they? What was he thinking?
I mean, it's 1900, and not everybody has your mind, Lance.
I'm sorry. I just can't. Okay, but the Winkies are for those who may not know, they're the which I didn't know this till I believe I read Wicked, and I read Wicked like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But the Winkies are the guards, the oh
Oh,
oh.
we oh. Sorry.
But actually Motley Crue used that in a song they never released.
Oh, cool.
Just want to throw that out there. That makes it doesn't add anything to this, but
It's a fun fact. It's a fun little factoid.
But what else I got here? I know I had something. She's depicted as a paunched old hag with 3 pigtails and an eye patch.
Mm-hmm.
Baum himself specified that she only had 1 eye, but that it was as powerful as a telescope, enabling the witch to see what was happening in her kingdom from her castle windows. Other illustrators, such as Paul Granger, place her eye in the center of her forehead as a cyclops. Usually she is shown wearing an eye patch. However, some illustrations show her with 2 eyes. I felt that pretty odd, because I have never heard of that.
I feel like it's an interesting thing because I feel like that might be another way that, the movie changed the way that we even relate to this story, because, it's in that movie where you see her with the crystal ball and things like that. And I'm wondering how they decided to make that change from an eye that can basically see anything within her territory to her looking at people through a glass ball.
I would say they probably changed it because, I mean, if
less terrifying.
Yeah, if what I'm reading is correct, her looking like a friggin' cyclops. It would have been, I don't know. This film is known for its advancements in special effects and things like that, and makeup and practical,
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think it would have been impossible for them to depict this. And also, like you said, it would have been too over the top.
I mean, they were scared of her as is.
Yeah. And the Munchkins are creepy enough. I'm more scared of the Munchkins than anything else.
Like they do kind of. There's something about them that just did not sit well. I feel like it was maybe how. I feel like they made them all so childlike.
Yeah.
It was something did not sit well there with me, the way that they depicted them.
Well, have you ever heard that, like, I have read this a couple of times. It's one of those things. It's just like, and let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. No, nobody fucking hung themselves in the Wizard of Oz.
They did not.
So we're not gonna.
It was a bird.
Yes, we're not wasting any more time with that. If you want to do your conspiracy theories, go right ahead, but it didn't happen. Anyway, but supposedly the Munchkins, like, when, not on camera, they were like crazy. They would like get drunk, and I've even read that like they would get real touchy with Dorothy and stuff.
See, I don't know about any of that, but honestly, the Munchkins in that movie, they were actually paid less than Terry, the dog who played Toto.
No shit.
Yes.
Wow.
I think per week, or I think is what I read, or Terry, the dog, was paid, I think, $115. Each Munchkin was only paid $50 a week.
Holy crap.
Yes. That is fucking insane.
Well, that was before SAG, wasn't it?
Well, and also actually, after this movie, happened, a lot of the actors and things like that who played the Munchkins, they actually created their own like association and things like that for little people who are actors.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, because they were, all becoming friends and things like that during the movie, mm-hmm. and they wanted to create their own association, I guess, to, help, little people who are actors, and then also, help protect them from getting paid less than an actual dog,
Yeah.
like a literal dog.
Well, good on them. Fight the good fight, I say. Something else I kind of want to bring up here that I found really interesting is the witch, as she is depicted in the novels. She didn't carry a broom. She carried an umbrella, which she uses on one occasion to strike Dorothy's dog, Toto.
She hits a dog. She's not nice.
Yeah, I found that really weird. It makes me think of another famous villain, Mary Poppins.
Wait, did Mary Poppins hit a dog? I don't remember that part of the movie. It's been a minute since I've seen it, but I definitely don't remember that. I remember her like dancing with penguins, but still.
I've always been suspicious of Mary Poppins.
I mean, 100%, but that doesn't mean she's, like a dog hater or something.
There's a rumor out there that have you ever heard that theory that Mary Poppins and Pennywise are somehow from like the same, like they're the same creature or whatever?
What? How?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
I've never even given it the time because I'm just like, this is stupid.
Like, I have so many issues because Pennywise only shows up, was it ever 23 or 27 years?
27.
Okay. Yeah. So granted, how many years after, I don't think, because, Poppins Returns recently came out, and I don't know and it's supposed to be with the adult kids, and okay, we're really getting off track here. I know, we're not even talking about the right movie anymore, Lance.
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I mean, I want to know why they, and I know you kind of touched upon it, but I really want to know why they decided to go with the look they went for. Because I don't even know, because in this article, in the Wikipedia article I have, they have like a small picture of how she was depicted in the books.
Yeah.
And I mean, her clothes aren't even all black or anything. They've got various pictures, like her pants have like pictures of turtles and moons, and she almost looks like more like a court jester than anything else. She has the pointed hat, but I don't know. I mean, the only thing with going all black, I'm sure black is evil, but like, I really wonder why they went with the green skin.
I don't know. I wonder if it was because there's a lot of different ways you can describe things in a book, and you get a lot of exposition in a book that you don't necessarily get with a movie. When they talk about in the book how, her blood had all dried up and things like that because, of just the wickedness and things. You can't really portray that in a movie unless someone says she ain't got no blood. So, they had to figure out another way to portray wickedness. And it's almost as if, think about, when food goes bad or something like that, mold, when something is tainted.
Oh, see, green. Yeah, that's a really good point. I have never thought of that.
I literally just thought of it like that right now.
Okay.
It makes sense.
You're the best.
Of course it is. But yeah, it like they wanted to show visibly that she was tainted by her evil.
Yeah. And I mean, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I would, that was the case, I would completely go along with it.
Thinking about the way that she was in the movie, because like I said, I didn't read the books. I've, read some articles. I brought some stuff up. But when I think of the Wicked Witch, I think of that movie. I think of how, honestly, it surprised me because I did watch it, just the other day, just to kind of freshen up because it had been so long since I'd seen it. I didn't realize how little of the movie that she was in because memories of her permeated all of my thoughts of when I think about the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
When you think about the Wizard of Oz, you think about the Wicked Witch, but so little of it is actually her.
Yeah. That's a crazy thought. I mean, Well, even for as little screen time as she has, she's so, and I'm gonna describe it horribly, but
Probably.
her presence is almost constant throughout that film. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, she
That
had.
that I mean, because just the impending doom that she's always sort of there. It's almost like a Jason film.
The
You
idea
know,
is she's always watching you because she
yeah.
always can be watching you.
Because even when Jason's not on screen, his presence is felt. You don't know where he is in the woods, so you're constantly keeping that in mind. He could jump out of any, behind any tree or something like that. Does that make any sense?
It does. And see, the thing is, even though she is not on screen, almost every conversation, she
Involves
is
her.
brought up. It really
Yeah.
does. Whenever she meets, whenever Dorothy meets one of her new friends, she's like, you better watch out. I've got this wicked witch who wants to come after me. And she's
Yeah.
always warning them,
Yeah.
from the moment she is seen, she does not leave the side of it until the very end when she dies.
Yeah.
Like, she is so there at every point in time.
Well,
in the movie.
even a little bit afterwards, because they have to bring the broomstick back. You know what I mean? I mean, her presence is still there a little bit.
It is, but at the same time, at that point, the danger is gone.
Yeah.
So it's not as overwhelming.
You got that giant fucking green head saying, "I'm the great and powerful." That's pretty terrifying. Looks like a Martian Manhunter's drunk uncle or something.
Oh, and actually something else interesting that I thought that they did in the movie compared to the book is where they actually had the human counterpart to her within Dorothy's regular waking world, Miss Gulch, who owned half the town and was just this horrible woman who wanted to take her dog and kill it.
Yeah, yeah.
That part wasn't even in the, Miss Gulch, she didn't exist in the book, but they created that human counterpart in the movie that, I don't know, it's almost if once she finally starts betraying the Wicked Witch or whatever, you can see how, I mean, obviously they're portrayed by the same woman, Margaret Hamilton, but how that wickedness tainted her skin and turned her green.
Yeah. Well, back in this time, it's a good thing the internet didn't exist back then, because very rarely ever did, if a film was based on a book, did it ever stick to the source material? You just got to look at the Bela Lugosi Dracula. That has almost nothing in common with the Bram Stoker novel. Same with Frankenstein. My God, Frankenstein's even a bigger, it's even a larger departure from the Mary Shelley novel.
Yeah, granted, Frankenstein from book to, here we are in 2020, just how much that different ways that story has changed since it came out.
Oh, yeah.
There have been so many different kinds of tellings
of
that story specifically.
Well, the same could be said about the Wizard of Oz also.
Oh, definitely. We've seen it, from the 1939 movie. We've seen it in Once Upon a Time. They make references to the Wizard of Oz and things like that in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, in Full House.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's so many different ways people have told the story, and within their own narratives, and then the way people have changed the narrative. Because then you also have The Wiz, with another telling of it as well.
Where she gets flushed down a giant toilet.
Is that really what happens? I've never seen it.
It's been so long ago, but yes, I do know that. I do remember that she gets flushed down a giant toilet.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, all you rogues and rapscallions. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast, but you're not really sure how to do that? Let me explain to you why Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's free. Did you hear that? It's completely free. There's even creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go ahead, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Let's go into something I'm a little bit more familiar with.
Okay.
And that's her the Wicked Witch of the West depiction in the Wicked novel. As her real name being I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. Elphaba.
Elphaba?
We're just gonna go with that. Please don't.
They're theater kids. They're gonna come for you.
Yeah. Please don't roast me.
Please roast him. It'll be great.
Why? What the hell?
I am a gremlin shit stirring asshole. So.
Well, no argument here. But Elphaba Throp is a fictional character in Wicked: The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West by Gregory Maguire, as well as in the Broadway and West End adaptations Wicked. Elphaba is the illegitimate daughter of Melina Throp and the Wizard of Oz. She was conceived when the wizard drugged and raped Melina. Elphaba does not discover her true father's identity until later in her life and grows up believing that her mother's husband, Frexspar, is her father. Through her mother, she can lay claim to the highest held title of Munchkinland, the eminent Throp. Frexspar, the Unionist minister and missionary, is her mother's husband. Nessa Rose, later the Wicked Witch of the East, and Shell, the Emperor of Oz, after the wizard's departure, are her half-siblings. Because of her noble ancestry, Elphaba bears the title of Throp, third descending. So...
okay. So I'm a bad theater kid, or what little high school theater that I did, but I have never seen or read Wicked. Not that I don't want to, but just because, it's never happened. I just haven't done it. I know I make mistakes in my life, but I did not know that it got that dark.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the book, oh my God, it gets downright friggin' gruesome at times. And honestly, and okay, theater kids, get your start getting your knives ready. I absolutely detest the Broadway show.
Ooh, I feel like them are fighting words.
I'm sorry, I detest it. And maybe it's because I read the book. And then I thought, oh, well, I'm going to check out some of the stuff from the Broadway show. I hated it. They took all of the darkness out of it.
But Defying Gravity is a banger, though.
Are you serious?
I love Defying Gravity.
Oh, my. You would.
I would. If I had the pipes for that, I would not stop singing it. But I could not hit that high note if I, tried. I would start, making all the dogs in the neighborhood act up.
I hate it. I hate
Why? It's such a good song. And I have heard some people sing that in karaoke that
didn't need to be singing. Oh,
no, they killed it.
Well, bully for them then. Her in the book, from what I remember, her and Glinda actually have an odd relationship. Let's see. Elphaba attends Shiz University, where she eventually becomes best friends with Glinda, later Glinda. I don't see it here, but just to get to the short and skinny of it, it isn't in the book. It isn't exactly spelled out for you. It's not, very it's very subtle. It's it's one of those things, honestly, you might not even notice it on reading it, but her and Glinda actually are kind of have like a romantic relationship.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I know, honestly, and and if it's one of those things, like, let's be edgy. You know what I mean?
What?
Well, I just sometimes like something like that. It's just like, really, what, Oh, you know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with it, but it's just sometimes, sometimes people are just like, I'm pushing the envelope. I'm gonna make them. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm personally in the camp of making everything just a little bit gayer, and also and also just having people on opposite sides, hero and villain, falling in love. It's so cliche. I love it. It's one of those things like, they hate each other, and then that just has to lead to like awesome hate sex.
Oh God, don't tell me you would have Batman and the Joker like.
No, but that's just because I have a lot of other issues with the Joker. And also, I don't like Batman.
Well, this has been the second and last episode of The Antagonist.
I'm sorry. Batman's great.
Okay. I just fake it. I'm used to people faking it for me.
I'm sure you are. Oh my goodness. But no, I want to talk a little bit about how through all of these depictions, who the Wicked Witch is. What are her motivations? Because it seems like her main motivation within the movie is, one, she's another one of just those selfish people. She wants power.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was going to say. Yeah, exactly.
She didn't even care necessarily that her sister, or in the books, just her, not necessarily friend, but another Wicked Witch that she was working with, was killed. She was much more worried about getting those slippers.
Yeah, and they're silver in the novel, by the way.
Yeah, they wanted to change them to red in the movie because it would look better in Technicolor.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they really did pop. I'm glad that they made them red, but I also just love red. But she wants power. She rules by the fact of fear. She has no problem just popping up at any time, just so you know that she is there. Everything she does is to make sure that she sees you, that she knows she's there. She can throw a fireball at you, that she could take you out in a moment's notice. And it's that I think that really makes her a great villain. I feel like she made some tactical errors, personally, because, at least in the movie, the way that it worked, when she died, was that she threw fire at the Scarecrow, and Dorothy, not even meaning to throw water on her, was just trying to put out Scarecrow, and it also got on her. If you're going to use fire as your main form of weapon, one, don't just keep buckets of water lying around your castle.
Yeah.
And also, any person who plays D&D, any person who plays any sort of tabletop games knows that casters are either in the middle of the crowd or in the back, because they are squishy creatures, and they need their space because they can be taken out so easily. If a bucket of water is going to be taking her out, don't use a fireball that is going to ruin you in the middle of the room. Like, it's as simple as that. She really had to blame that on herself. As far as the movie goes, in the book, it happened a little bit different, because she actually ends up, tripping and taking one of the silver slippers or whatever from Dorothy. And she gets so upset that she actually gets mad and throws a bucket of water on her. So it's Dorothy has a tantrum in the book and does it on purpose.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, she stole
See,
one of the shoes.
See, they should have done something like that in the film, because that gives Dorothy some balls.
I mean, but at the same time, it makes me think, okay, so Dorothy in the movies or in the book or whatever, like, and a specific age was never really said, but in a lot of the ways that she's depicted, she's thought of much younger than even Judy Garland was, who was 16 when she played her. So
well, didn't they want to make her like blonde? They wanted to almost make her a sex symbol.
Oh yeah, they want to have their blonde baby doll look and things that.
They wanted to do it with the Wicked Witch too.
Oh yeah, they wanted to make her sexy, but then they realized
because of Snow White.
Well, I was gonna say they also did it because one of the famous lines and from the movie or whatever, when Dorothy's all like, "I thought witches are ugly," and Glinda's like, "Only bad witches are ugly."
Yeah.
So being ugly and being tainted by that wickedness or whatever is an important theme of like how they depict evil.
Yeah.
And apparently also like that, water is a bad thing for evil witches. I don't know if it goes for all witches, but like in the books and in the later books, when they go off and end up killing other witches, some of the other wicked witches, they also use the water to kill them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that is something that comes up. I don't know, maybe water is considered pure, or maybe it could possibly be something like vampires, how they can't be in running water, like it's like acid to them.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that also comes in there somewhere as well, or if it just happens like L. Frank Baum is just like, don't know what's gonna happen, so water, why not? I don't know how much research he did into, like creatures and folklore.
I doubt, probably not much.
Probably not much.
I gotta be honest with you though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, the Wicked Witch of the West is obviously iconic. I mean, the character's been iconic for ever since the film came out. When did the film come out again? I'm sorry.
1939.
Yeah, so since 1939. But honestly, I feel like it's a character that hasn't become interesting within probably like the last 2 decades, because of people like Gregory Maguire, who are making her almost this anti-hero. You know what I'm saying? That are giving her some pathos.
I can see that. Like, I mean, my thing with her is like, and once again, maybe I'm just biased because when I think about her, I think about the original movie or not, or the 1939 movie. That's the way that I still see her to this day, even though I've seen other depictions of her in media. And when I think of, that depiction, that is what I see as evil. She is a fantastic villain.
But that's just all she sort of is, though. It's just like she's entertaining, but she's not interesting. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess I understand what you're saying and things like that, but at the same time, with the movie, the way you talked about it before, about it being a simple story about like good overcoming evil. Yeah. They didn't necessarily need her to be a character to which you could feel something for other than fear. They needed her to be something that good could overcome.
Yeah.
And I think they did very well with that. And I think that the movie could be remade today, keeping to the same storyline, as that movie. They could probably give her a more intense backstory and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And look into her more.
That's something I wanted to ask you actually. If the Wizard of Oz, original Wizard of Oz, came out today, how well do you think it'd do?
like as it is Judy Garland, that sort of thing? Or do you think like it had never existed before or whatever, and they made it with today's
today? Like, we'll just like the story. We'll go ahead and say they use different actors, you know.
Yeah, so it's like the story had never existed before, but the story
they keep the script, they keep the general, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And I think I'd be happy about it just simply because, you know, Hollywood's finally deciding to do something original. But, you know, I think that it could do pretty well.
Oh, I think it would bomb.
Really?
I think it would bomb, but I do think it would eventually become a cult classic.
See, my thing with it is I feel like it would do well because, I mean, there would obviously have to be some changes made just simply because of the technological advances. I think that with what we have today, as far as being able to make a great cinematic experience with that story, would blow people out of the water. Like the cinematography that would be possible to tell that story today would be amazing. But at the same time too, now you see movies being more willing to give villains a voice beyond, hello, I'm evil. You know, they like the sympathetic villain, which I think that they would, to a certain extent, turn her into. And I think by the fact that she is a very power-hungry villain, that she would become a much more manipulative villain as well.
You know, I honestly, talking about, it just reminds me of somebody else. Like, you know, you going on about how, you know, the power hungry and things like that, which I agree with. I see a lot of similar traits of her with the Emperor in Star Wars. Personally.
Is it Emperor Palpatine?
Palpatine. Oh my God.
What?
I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Okay. I also am not a Star Wars fan, you know, because I like Jar Jar Binks. There, I said it.
Oh my God. Now you're gonna have a ton of Star Wars people roasting you.
I know, I understand. You know what? I felt like I should, you know, join you in the trenches while all of the theater kids are coming after you. I'm gonna have all of the Star Wars nerds coming after me. It's fine.
Well, now we've just pissed everybody off, so nobody's going to listen to this.
Oh, it'll be fine because you know what? If there's anything people love to do is to argue. And
exactly.
I also love to argue. So why not? Let's go for it.
Oh, wow. I never noticed. But with that being said, I think we've reached a pretty good ending. I think we've reached a pretty good conclusion.
I suppose. I love her so much, and I feel like I could just talk about her for hours and about how wonderful she is.
Well, how are we going to rate her? What do you want to do?
Let's see. How should we rate her? I was thinking maybe we could rate her evil cackles out of 5.
I was going to say flaming fireballs.
Ooh, yes, flaming fireballs. I like that one.
Okay, so out of 5 hurling flaming fireballs, what do you give her?
Okay. So I think with all the ways that she's been portrayed, I think that specifically looking at the way that she was portrayed in the movie, in the 1939 movie, that honestly, she was a fantastic villain. Yes, once again, she made some tactical errors, but she was usually pretty smart. She was absolutely terrifying. She was ruthless, and she made everyone feel that terror. her presence was never lost. I have to give her, honestly, I'm going to give her 4.5 flaming hurling fireballs out of 5.
Okay. Honestly, and I know this kind of contradicts myself.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of contradicts what I said a little bit earlier. But I kind of got to go with the same way I rated Frankenfurter. And I know it's only our second episode, but honestly, I'm giving her 5 hurling fireballs.
Yes, queen.
I am, yeah, because I mean, it's just not only is it iconic, but I mean, like I said, we all watch this movie when we're children. This film for a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us, sets up our moral compass. You know what I mean?
And she was just a villain that changed the way that we looked at witches. And the ways that, I think a lot of ways that cinema portrayed villains too.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like children's movies.
Yeah. And with children, like eventually, I would say growing up, you do have to kind of come into an age where you know there is a gray area. It's not everything is black and white. Mm-hmm. But I think sometimes it's, especially with this, and Wizard of Oz is probably the best example. To especially young children, 3 to 4, something like that, just to give them an example of bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That this is somebody who is bad, because there are, in everyday life, there are people. Fucking Hitler is irredeemable. You know what I mean? He's just complete. He was just complete. There are.
I mean, our whole president. So
I didn't want to get political.
I know. But she said, I want to make sure somebody wants to, like, if there's anybody left who doesn't want to fight me, I just wanted to make sure that.
Okay, well, that this has been the second and the last episode of The Antagonist. Send all your hate mail to Sam Toohey. But you just there are just those people that, I mean, there's just no redeemable qualities about them whatsoever. I may be one of those people, but at least I know it.
I don't know. You're pretty fun to do karaoke with, so I think that's redeemable.
I have that one. Yeah, that's that one quality.
That's your one redeeming quality, is that you're pretty fun for karaoke.
I'll take it.
And you do be prepared better than almost anyone else that I've heard.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With Scar, who is a villain we'll eventually get to.
I know.
But okay, I think that might be the show. What do you say, Sam?
I think that seems like a good place to wrap up. I had fun talking to you tonight about our wonderful Wicked Witch of the West.
Oh, well, that makes one of us. But anyway, but before we go, just want to reiterate that you should like us on Facebook, The Antagonists. We also have a Twitter, right, Sam?
Yes, we do.
And we have an Instagram, am I correct?
We do.
Okay, can you tell the fine people where they can find us at?
Yes, you can find us at our Twitter handle, which is at antagonist_AVP. And it's the same for our Instagram as well.
All righty. And also, I would like to direct everybody to the Fearscape Media Network Facebook group. Like I said in the last episode, we're all having a great time over there. We're sharing ghost stories, alien stories, horror news, just everything, and we're all having a great time. Everybody gets along. I can't say how awesome enough the Fearscape Media Network group is, which we want to thank the Fearscape Media Network for allowing us to provide you with this enlightening and powerful podcast. Would you say so, Sam?
Yes. Thank you for giving me a reason to talk endlessly about the things that I love.
And okay, well, Sam, I think that's the show.
So long and farewell, friend.
Goodbye.